Hey, welcome back to the YouTube channel, Threedayrv. My name is Keith if you're new here. We're just going to walk you through some of the things that we've done to our 2022 Coachmen Freedom Express. And when I talk about things we've done, it's upgrades and changes that we made, make the RV experience a little safer and a little more friendly to do. And so I made a little list, a quick top 10 list. We're going to walk you through what we did. So the first on the list is going to be our boondocking power upgrades, where we ended up putting a 3 kW inverter charger in, and then the lithium batteries. We put three 200 amp hour Renogy core batteries in. I do have some other batteries I've used. I've kind of stuck with the Renogy for now, but I'm thinking about going back to the Volt Go just because it's a smaller footprint. So we have the 3 kW inverter charger. We have the core batteries in here. We have three different solar charge controllers, one of which is a DC to DC charger. It makes it real handy when you're going down the road. You're sending power from the alternator of your vehicle, and it's charging your battery. So no matter if it's day or night, you're putting some power into your battery bank. So wherever you end up pulling over for the night or day, you have power. So you can do a lot of things. But the power upgrade we did allows us to run our air conditioner and all the comforts at home in here for quite a long time. We have a 600 amp battery bank, 600 amp hour battery bank that gives us quite a bit of time. If you're using the air conditioner, we get about 5 hours out of it. We've never been, if it's that hot, we're going to be someplace to be plugged in, that's for sure. But we've expanded the solar system on here. So we have about 1,350 watts on the roof. And then we have a deployable Renogy solar suitcase. It also has a spot to plug in. But I'll show you what the batteries look like. And so these are the Renogy batteries. And of course, they're 12.8 volt lithium iron phosphate batteries. And then I'll show you a screenshot of the inverter and charge controllers next. So this is our deployable side. What that means is any solar suitcase we put out, we have a port here. We have a dedicated charge controller for it. And then the front bay is where we put our batteries and our charge controller, yet we still have storage. It worked out pretty good, and you can't see it. Behind that's a false wall that's dark, and I put that wall in so we could still use this, and it's perfectly sized enough. I can get a camp chair, 4 or 5 camp chairs, and some jack equipment in here. Definitely makes a difference for still using storage from both sides. By freeing up the battery tray, I was able to put a box in here, and that's where all my hitch accessories go. Sway control hitch, all those goodies. I'm sorry, the equalizer hitch, all those parts go inside there. I mentioned that I had the DC to DC charge controller, and so it's got an Anderson cable that connects to my tow vehicle. That's where that power comes from. And as you can see here, this is where all the fun stuff happens. We got a couple different charge controllers, all the circuit breakers, fuses, and then right behind this, that's the inverter, and that's the side view of the battery bank. So I still have some room over here for tools. I put a couple of tubs of tools for roadside emergencies. So the next thing on my list that I felt was very important was having tire pressure monitoring. And when I first bought this rig, I had an older pickup truck. And this rig has the sensors that strap around the hub of the rim. And I think those came from E-Trailer, I'm pretty sure. And then I had to buy the actual remote monitor that goes up on the dash. Works fantastic. It reports the temperature and the pressure. They work really good. My newer truck has the upgradable sensors, so I took these back down and put wheel sensors actually in them. And now these talk directly to my GMC truck, and they go right on the dashboard. And they work just as good as the TST 770 system. Works just as good. The advantage is it's one less monitor on my dashboard. So either system works fine. As long as you have something to monitor these, I highly recommend it. Okay, so the tires we put on, I got rid of the China bombs. I'm not going to call them out by name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's the low budget tires that they'll put in, and they just don't last. They looked really good, but they started having bulges on them. And I wasn't going to go through a warranty process. We simply got rid of them. I asked the dealer to scrap them. I don't think they're worth anything. The ones we ended up going with were the Goodyear Endurance tires, and I can't complain about these. I've had good luck with them. I don't know many folks. I've seen a few randoms where these things come apart, but you know, they're rated to 80 psi, and that's where I run them at. And I haven't had any trouble with them. So that's what we do for this, and I'll show you a screenshot of the system on my truck so you can just see what the dash looks like. Again, either system works. If you get the TST 770, which is around $200, that's the monitor. Each wheel sensor is about $60 from eTrailer, but you know, if you watch them, I'm sure they have sales. As long as you have a system to monitor your tire pressure, that's really all that matters. So get good quality tires and a good pressure monitoring system, and I think the other things will work out for you. So the next item on my list is, it's really something you don't have to have, but it does make it a little nicer traveling wherever you're going. It's a little more like home, and that's mobile internet. And I've tested and reviewed several. I've had great luck with quite a few actually, but the one that it's kind of standing out from the rest right now, and because it's so fluid and easy to use, that's the Travfi 5G. It's the Journey XTR Pro router. I'm going to show you where I installed mine. In the first version I've got all three of their different routers. The first one I had installed back in this cabinet here. It was a fantastic spot out of the way, but we needed more and more storage for different things, so I ended up mounting it on a swivel behind this TV, and that's where I have that router hooked up now. And I couldn't be more happy with this. This thing is fast. Right here next to my workshop, big metal building here. On the other side is the workshop, but on the other side of the workshop is the tower, and that's quite I don't know, about 4 miles away from us right now. So it's 4G mode right now, but I can move it behind the barn back there on our campground, and it flips over to 5G and speeds go through the roof. It's pretty quick. So I can't recommend this enough. In fact, I have a discount link for people, and I stand behind it, and we've used this out to Montana and down to Florida. So this particular unit's got about 3,000 miles on it. So it's been a really good purchase to have. You do have to have some cell phone service in order for it to work. It's not satellite, it does use cell. But as you notice, my antennas, some of them are laying here. That's because I put an antenna on the roof that I'll show you a picture of. We have a video. We even have discount links on the antenna. But we ended up putting a antenna on the roof that's made by Waveform. And that Waveform, that's called the OmniRoam antenna by Waveform. The next upgrade that we did that was one of the most joyful ones for me was hooking up the Easy Touch programmable RV thermostat. And I got to tell you, this was one of the most gratifying units to hook up because it took 5 minutes. 5 minutes to hook it up, go through all the settings. I connected it to our Wi-Fi, and you're off to the races. It controls your heating and cooling just fine. It even will give you a couple of alerts if something's wrong. You can set the high and low range alerts. You can remotely connect to it to turn it on, turn it off, turn it up, turn it down, whatever your choice is. That is this thermostat. This is the Easy Touch by MicroAir, and I got to tell you, if you don't have one of these, you're missing out. You really should look into it. It's one of the better upgrades I did. I didn't score it as high as the other upgrades because the other ones were safety related. But I got to tell you, when we're away and our little dogs can't come with us, and we're out for a couple hours, it's nice to know that we can monitor the temperature and keep them comfortable. So that's the MicroAir Easy Touch. Get you one of these. These are fantastic. So the next thing on our list was suspension upgrade. I noticed I could see the tires in the mirror where they would change, and I actually bent an axle in Florida and I had to replace an axle. But when I did that, I noticed that the bushings and all the leaf spring shackles, everything was very sloppy and everything was very loose. And I just had enough of it. So we ended up taking
we ended up going to the internet and figuring out all the different hitches, and this was highly recommended, the CRE 3000 hitch. And why that is because it's got these ties that go from side to side, from frame to frame, from shackle to shackle, and that allows you to really have a really stout connection. It gives you a really smooth, balanced ride all the way down the road. And I've got a video showing the installation and how all that works. And I can tell you it's smoothened out the ride because the axles are tracking in a perfectly straight line with the vehicle now. And I used to see this rear axle at times, I could see it floating, and that's because when I took it apart, those plastic bushings that comes from the factory, I don't know what the engineers are thinking, but they were shot. This rig's 2 years old, you know. So anyway, we upgraded with the help from the good folks at MORryde, and we had the CRE 3000, and I don't look back. I don't regret the work it took to put it on, but it's a fantastic upgrade. Highly recommend that. So the next thing on my list is RV security, and that's where that lock comes in right there. I've tried another lock, and it used to stick on me. I had trouble with it in the past. If the sun was on this side, it wouldn't unlock. You'd have to go back, dig, and find the key. So we contacted the folks at Oneus, and we hooked this, and we hooked it up, and we don't look back because it's just a fantastic lock. The great things about it is it's got more codes because it has an extra digit on the keypad. You can see 0 through 9, so you can have a lot more combinations, a lot more codes. It has a fantastic remote control that gives you about 120 feet of range, so that's fantastic. So it works with this remote fob. It does have a manual key that pops right out. It's got multiple batteries in it, so it's supposed to give you about 6 months. They're not lithium, so put some good Duracells in there, you won't have no trouble. But that's the first part of the Oneus upgrade on here. This is a fantastic lock. It's got a earth magnet that keeps this little door closed. In the old series had a little chrome knob, so that's an upgrade. Where your manual key goes. So can't really complain about the door lock at all. One thing I would recommend would be to take this knob here and maybe machine that down, because the cover hits. So these, I don't know if there's anything they can do with that in engineering, but other than that, this is a fantastic lock. It's so secure. You can also lock this so that nobody from the outside can keypad into it. And the second part of the Oneus upgrade for traveling, I got to show you. That's the Oneus firearms safe, and that's this device that's in the back. So, some people will look at this as being controversial, and what I'm trying to say to you is if you are a responsible gun owner, you should have some way of securing it. If you have to leave your rig, this pulls out. I can put it in the truck, and it's got I'll just show you. It's got a cable so that this can secure to the truck frame, the seat, or in the bed of the truck, any place you want. But this makes it a really legitimate way to secure it. You can use key code to get into here. It does have a spot where a manual key can be used, and of course the part I like is fingerprint. So the next thing I want to talk about is lighting controls. I work in a commercial building. We have quite a few buildings, and we have all kinds of light controls that have zone dimming and daylight harvesting and all that good stuff. But RVs typically, well, let's be honest, they suck about some of the lights in these things. And the main lights here in the front of this coach, as you can see as I'm walking through them, they are so bright they'll drive you nuts. So in some areas you lack light completely. In other areas, oh my God, you need sunglasses. So we found it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description so you can find it. But I ended up buying this tiny little potentiometer, and basically what the potentiometer does, it allows you to dim your lights. So you can turn the switch and you can dim them right down, turn them right off. So this was a great upgrade. And here's the other thing for the boondockers. You got your amp meter on, you'll see that'll save you about 2 amps turning them down. But it's certainly more cozy with the lights dim. So we kind of like that upgrade, and we don't regret putting this little pod on there. I believe it was $20 for that. I mean, that's a good buy. The other light hack that we did that
was necessary is we wanted to be able to put lights in the cabinets a little bit, have something under the counter. I'll just turn that off so you can see it. So this had a single light in the corner, and it was kind of awful. And it had a tiny little tube light here, and it was bright and dim, and it just kind of sucked. So we bought a strip light. I think we got it from Menards. And the strip light, as you can see, it just connects. Got the peel and stick tape. You wipe this down with alcohol, and I mounted the switch right here to keep it close. But the other thing was we wanted to mount the, put lighting up behind the cabinets. So it's got a really, really cool aesthetic look to it. And we also like the fact that you're able to see some groceries on the inside with a light. So this whole light kit I got, it was Menards. It was also one of those things. This was on sale for 15 bucks. We've had this in here over a year. Don't regret that at all. Works really good. Speaking of lights, this is another good one. I'll put the link in the description. There's stainless steel and chrome lights that you can get. And let me show you what that looks like and why I put them in. They charge up with USB-C, and they last probably 3 months, depending on how much you use it. But, there's no lights in this kitchen. I'm sorry, in the closet. But there is now. These are these cool lights from Amazon. 2 of them for 19 bucks. They charge up. They're motion activated. I mean, how slick is this? And you got multiple tabs. And I just put a couple tabs on the ceiling, and you're good to go. You open the cabinet, you have lights. Close the cabinet, you don't have lights. So speaking of lights, again, this is the Freedom Express 2022. This is that couples camper 259 FKDS. When you walk in here to the bedroom, the light switch is way over there, and it made no sense. Made no sense whatsoever. Crawling over everybody and tripping on things. So I ended up buying this other device, and it's a wireless lighting control. And that was a 24 bucks on Amazon. It's got 2 remotes it comes with it. They got tiny little batteries in them, and there's another one you can see all the way over there. So once you get in bed, you can turn the lights on and off. Works fantastic. It's got, like I say, little watch batteries in here. But that is a really fantastic control for lights. The other lights we got are just the standard LED lights. When you open the door, you got lights in where your clothes are. Because let's face it, they don't put any lights in a lot of these economy trailers, even though there's nothing real cheap about them. So that's the lighting control hacks that we put on. Totally gotta love that. And this thing pops off, you can move it anywhere you want. So that's another good hack for us that we don't regret. But that light there really looks cool. So the next thing on my list, I'm not going to say I bought this particular thing because of a brand, but I needed to upgrade my tow vehicle a little bit. I don't have a 2500, but I bought a truck that was well within the range of handling this 29-foot travel trailer. And I went from a 1500 to another 1500, but this one is equipped a little bit different. And this is the GMC Denali, and it is a 4-wheel drive. My old truck had a 6-speed and a 5.3 liter engine. This one has a 10-speed and it has a 6.2 liter engine. It has about 80 more horsepower, probably 90 foot-pounds of torque more. But this thing comes equipped with a multi-camera system called, not multi-camera, it's called a Pro Tow Package. And it has multiple cameras up on the cab there, multiple cameras here, cameras on the mirrors, camera on the front grille. When you put your turn signal on, you can see down the side of the RV, which is great. I just recently got in the mail and haven't had a chance to put it on, but I bought the rear view camera, the General Motors version. That rear view camera, I have to mount it on the camper and put the wires underneath it, but it plugs into these top ports here. That's where these cameras go. And what's that do? Well, it allows you to run this program called Invisible Trailer. And I don't really care too much about that, but I want a high definition, very clean, very smooth video.
feed from the back. I want to be able to see the back, right? I want to see that image for backing up. But if you hook this up the right way and you run through their tuning process, it allows you to essentially wipe out from the bed view back. It's like it cuts right through your trailer and you can see the car behind you. So I'm not real sure how that works, but we're going to hook it up when it gets a little nicer out. Just so happens we melted all our snow off in Michigan, and now we'll be able to, hopefully for a couple days, hook that up. But back to the vehicle. This vehicle tows about the same amount as the other one. It controls much better than the other truck. It's got bigger, better tires on it. It's got a little heavier duty transmission. That's what they say. And definitely the motor is a huge upgrade on the engine. The 6.2 liter definitely handles pulling that trailer up hills. The other one just would work its you-know-what off to get up the hill. The other cool thing about this truck, as I mentioned earlier, the more things we put on the truck and camper gadgets, it required more and more monitors, more and more things on the dashboard. If you look at other YouTube videos, you see some people that'll have several monitors that are in your field of view, which reduce your safety, right? So what I wanted to do with this package, it allows me to use my RV Trip Wizard GPS right on my dash display. That's fantastic. And it tells you turn by turn what you need to do. It's got the video, very easy to go back and forth. So I love that part of it. It also has the tire pressure monitoring right on the dash itself. So if something goes wrong with the trailer tires, you're the first to know it right in your field of view, even on the heads-up display. Really love that. So from a safety standpoint, this was a good thing, upgrading this truck, because I got less things in the way of the vision. I've got connections to the trailer, that new camera system, tire pressure monitoring, and GPS. So there's a lot of things that don't go on the dashboard no more. And to me, that's important. And, you know, it is GMC. It doesn't look bad. So we hope you liked the video today. All it is we picked the top 10 things of our upgrades that we did. We still got a few more things we want to do to our travel trailer and make our experience and safety a little bit more pleasure and more safety, less stress. But the purpose of this video is just kind of share what we did. It's not a video that's saying, oh, you have to do this. You know, we don't care what you buy. We're just saying there's a few things we did. Now, I don't buy those RV snap pads. I don't mess with any of that stuff. There's other people that tell you, you know, you need them. I don't know about all that. There's a lot of things out there that I didn't share with you that are on other videos. I do have the RV leveling system on here that's by Beach Lane, and it's got a little two sets of little batteries, two AA batteries in it, and it's just like the LevelMate Pro. Has a couple features that LevelMate Pro doesn't have, and I like it, and it was $70. You got all of that. I also have Beach Lane's water filtration system in here that detaches, and you put new filters in it every year, but it's a triple filter system. It's fantastic as well. I have the video on that. I'll even have a link for that. That is an Amazon direct purchase. And there's a couple other things that I use. There's a step stabilizer you can get for the older RV. We had one on there. Works fantastic. And there's several things out there that you can do to upgrade your RV that I'll have links in. I'm personally using the Renogy batteries right now. Again, I've used other batteries and I haven't had any issues with them. Probably my number 3 battery out there, if you would ask me which we would buy, I tell you what, the Golden Mate battery, for the money, you cannot beat those. The Golden Mate batteries, you can't really beat them because the cost per amp hour is incredible. Now, they don't have all the fancy self-heating systems on them yet, but I got a feeling that'll be coming out pretty soon. But they do have, they're reliable, they work well, and if you get the upgraded versions, you can get some that have the Bluetooth communications, and they'll talk to CAN bus. I'm not sure, but I think it could talk to maybe one of those VE modules from Victron. If I get me one of those, maybe I'll try that out. But there's many things in this video and all my video collections that are out there just to make it a little easier on you. So thanks for watching, and if you like content like this, please give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the channel out a lot. So thanks a lot from Benton Harbor.